All right, continuing our string of unbiased reviews, we're going to be talking about the Groove Life wallet. Now, I know most people remember them from very annoying and habitually replaying commercials about a neodymium magnet belt, but they've recently gotten into, other things. Essentially, it's a style or life brand company, which can be very nebulous at times, but at least in this regard, what they've primarily been focusing on is making high grade, high quality materials be put, or rather put to use in any of their products relating to lifestyles or common accessories that the common man slash woman is going to be utilizing. Belts, rings, I don't know who's buying those rings, and wallets. That's what you really should be buying. Now, cards on the table, because we don't want a $10,000 fine from the government. I believe it got higher now, but we are not being paid to do this. The wallet I purchased was a Groove Life wallet. I specifically chose the carbon fiber pattern on the metal, not realizing that it wasn't actually carbon fiber texture over the metal of the wallet. Wasn't a deterrent though. Wallet still looks pretty baller. I think we can both agree on that, Milk. And
yeah,
and I spent about 10 to 15 days with it, and I believe, Milk, you spend about the same amount of time with it. And we're going to tell you how we grade certain aspects of it, but we're also going to talk general about pros and cons of that nature. Milk, I'm going to let you go first all the way through, and then I'm going to follow you up. But just remember, at the end, I will ask you for your final letter grade. So first thing I want to ask you about is, how do you feel about the quality and slash material that the wallet is made out of?
All right, so the fact that the wallet is made out of metal caught my attention very quickly. I don't know what I was expecting. I picked it up and I was like, oh wow, this is made out of metal. Duh, I should have expected that, but I didn't. I like the quality of it. I think the quality is pretty nice. I think really it's just a few pieces of metal functionally, just holding everything together and a little mechanism to keep everything kind of stable and put together. And so at a baseline, I'd give it I'm going to give it a B minus. I would have given it higher, except for the fact that I really did not like the kind of, I don't really know what to call it. It's like a grippy piece. I called it a glorified piece of sticky tape, basically, because that's kind of what it felt like. And I understand that I understand that it's there by necessity and whatnot, but it runs the risk of actually coming off. Like I'm not the smartest person.
Did you play with it? Don't pick it. If you pick it, it'll come off.
No, I recognize that, but I guess where I was going with this is because I had literally never used a wallet of that caliber, I didn't really understand exactly what you were supposed to do with it to get it working. Like I had never really seen one of them used with my very own eyes. I had maybe seen like little offhand portions of it or like offhand videos of somebody sliding it, but it just didn't register in my brain properly. And so I got it for the first time and I was like, what is this sticky piece? And I only like clipped the corner of it just a tiny bit before realizing I wasn't supposed to do that. And then eventually, through literally having to watch another review, be like, oh, this is how you use it. I think it's just that the design wasn't intuitive for me because I hadn't seen it before. But regardless, that little piece of sticky tape basically is kind of the only thing that bumped it down, because even if I recognize that most people aren't dumb enough to do that, I still do have my concerns over whether or not it would actually eventually come off due to repeated use. But that's, I don't know a whole lot about their design firm, so who's to say?
Hey guys, I found a way to kickstart my day with a boost of focus and creativity in liquid form. And no, it's not coffee. I started using Magic Mind, the first mental performance shot, and some of its ingredients are nootropics, adaptogens, and matcha. But that's really just for flavor. It's been designed to elevate your energy, decrease stress, and amplify your concentration. However, I mostly use it as a coffee substitute in the morning. Call me old-fashioned. If you are interested in giving it a shot, you can order some from magicmind.com.
I can't fault you for that one. We'll talk about it when it's my time, but put it to you this way. They somehow forgot to give me that. That
What?
wasn't even like the base form of the wallet. That shit I had got complimentary because apparently they forgot that people who bought their wallet during a Black Friday discount don't get that little piece that should always come with it. So that's an oversight on their end as far as I'm concerned. So the reason that it's on there and the reason that it's placed specifically where it is because it doesn't come automatically placed, which I'm gonna preview right now and tell you guys I consider that a con. But sorry for interrupting. Go ahead and talk about the realistically, do you see yourself using this wallet as your main wallet if it was like the only wallet you had? How do you feel about if this was your primary?
I could almost see it becoming my primary. I think there's a couple of fringe situations with the things that I carry around that I don't know if it would necessarily be the easiest transition. I think it could be done. I think it wouldn't be the easiest transition. Occasionally I do have more cards necessary on me than what the wallet carries, and that's just an unfortunate reality, but I could make it work by just subbing out things that I know I won't need in that given day. So we make do with that. Surprisingly, one of the things that actually would make me stray away from wanting to use this as my mainstay, or I guess a gripe that I would have with it, because this is a hypothetical where I'd be kind of forced to. One of the gripes that I would have with it is because it is made out of metal. I also have a metal card, and I am a little concerned as to how this wallet would actually treat metal cards, just because metal on metal action, especially when you're dealing with, basically just two flat pieces of metal kind of rubbing up against each other. I also particularly found an issue where it can't really hold the metal card that well because the metal card is heavier. But overall, I think I could more than likely incorporate this into my lifestyle. It would just require more foresight and more extraneous planning that I otherwise wouldn't have to do, partially due to the nature of it only being able to carry a certain number of cards, and it being minimal by design would occasionally clash with the way that I typically have my wallet configured, if that makes sense.
No, I totally understand. Wallet configuration is one of those things that people don't really talk about because, well, if you stop and think about it, a lot of people treat wallet configuration based on the wallet itself. If you got a basic bitch wallet, it just folds open, it holds some money, and maybe it has 3 separate pockets for cards and a sleeve for a card. That's what I would call a traditional. Yes, they did add some extra flair, but that extra flair is so mundane, I would still qualify it as traditional. Then there's the look, you just want to show off a brand that you like. Those chain wallets that'll have a big picture of a video game character or a pattern from a famous cartoon or something. Yeah, like those are more like the waste of times because they're always frail and brittle, and the more you use them, the more they get damaged, even if you don't sit on them and put them in your back pocket. I totally understand. All right, so there's no set limit to these, by the way. In your mind, pros and cons, as many as you want. Start with pros.
Yeah, we'll start with the pros. I agree with you after some forethought, or actually, I guess after some hindsight, now that I don't have it on me anymore. I do think the wallet looks pretty nice. I think that I had started growing, the carbon fiber design on it had started growing on me because I think carbon fiber was one of those things that it had always been appealing, but I had never been like, oh, that's not for me. And then as I used that wallet more, I was like, you know what? Actually, this is nice. It has like some reflective little glare. It has like some interesting light patterns when light shines on it, whatever. I think it's nice. I think it could have the potential to be a very sturdy wallet. Obviously, I wouldn't have had it for long enough to actually test that thoroughly, but I think that just based off of its materials and its construction, I think it shows promise for being a very durable wallet, that the only damage you have to worry about is either within the mechanism itself to make the wallet function, or maybe like some scratches on it, but I don't know who cares about that. Even though I just said a little bit ago that if I was to have this be my mainstay wallet, it might be a little bit difficult to accommodate. Overall, with how my life is currently, I think I like the fact that it is slim and only has to carry 6, because most of the time I don't have to carry more than 6 crucials. It's like 2 cards, ID. What the hell else do I have on me? Health insurance card. I have those kinds of things. And so it only having 6 slots, I'm not mad about that. I think that's fine. I think that it's actually, I recently got a new pair of pants that have like cargo pockets on the side of it, and that was very convenient to have to work around this. But in the times where I'm not wearing those pants, the fact that this is actually super thin means that it's one of those few wallets that I can actually have in my back pocket and not have it like screw up and give me scoliosis, which is very nice. I guess the only things that I'd ever be concerned about from a wallet if I was sitting on it, like if I was concerned about it messing up my back, would just be if I have like a ton of cash on me, which frankly I never do. But the fact that this is really thin means that it's not taking up that much space in my pocket, in my back pocket, and so it's not leaving as much of an impression on my spine if I sit on it. Once I finally got used to using the slide mechanic properly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. It's very convenient that I know exactly what order I put my cards in, and so I just pop it, pull the card, put it in the machine, do whatever I have to do with it, and then immediately put it right back. And it feels like I'm the main character from Men in Black, whichever one you want. You can assume I'm the white one. And then also one of those things that maybe won't ever get talked about unless you're hearing it from me. For the short time that I did have the wallet, I was absolutely obsessed with just sliding it open and closed while I was sitting at my desk, especially if I had to talk under high stress circumstances.
Oh man, I wanted to ask, did you do that?
I did,
but
so
I
much
felt like I would be an asshole if I did.
No, I think now that right there should tell you that if I ever receive anything for any kind of review and you ask me, did you play with this at your desk? The answer is probably yes, unless it's like something that I like eat or something. So yeah, that is a very underrated benefit of it. If you're one of those people that, I have a hairpin, I have a deck of cards, I have a butterfly knife that isn't actually sharp enough to hurt anybody. Necklaces, random stuff, I just fidget with it, and that wallet was a mainstay for that. And honestly, it being out of my hands is actually a good thing, because now I'm not just messing with it all the time. And then I guess just to kind of repeating all the way back is I just like how it looks, plain and simple. Just the design of it, everything about it, it just looks like a nice minimal wallet, and it doesn't make you look pretentious. And if there's one thing that I hate, it's looking pretentious to people. So this wallet helps to avoid that, period.
I mean, I'm not about to stop you. You can go into the cons.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to have like a clean cut con section. It's okay. Okay. So I had already kind of mentioned this previously. I don't like how this thing handles metal cards. I don't think it's really a fault of the wallet, and I don't know how many metal cards exist out there besides like the Apple Card. I don't even know why I have that one, to be honest, but the wallet doesn't handle metal cards very well. That issue gets kind of exacerbated once you have fewer than the maximum amount of cards as well, because the basic issue is that it doesn't seem like, maybe because of the space in between each individual card and the amount of space within the wallet itself, even if I have a metal card in the middle of it and it's being kind of like quote unquote squished by the cards, it has a pretty high tendency to just pull out 5 out of my 6 cards and leave my metal one at the bottom. And then if I have less than 6 cards, that metal card is not ever coming out. It's just, I mean, it'll come out with gravity, but the slide mechanic doesn't do a great job at actually getting it to the forefront. So it's a little bit rough.
Okay, I'm a little curious because, I mean, it was never designed for metal cards. What metal card do you have? What card do you have that's metal?
I have the Apple Card. That's what I was.
I know nothing about the Apple Card, but you said Apple. I no longer have questions. Fuck Apple. Continue.
You know what? Fair enough. We're not. That's a discussion for a different day. Maybe. Probably not. It doesn't matter. I had also mentioned this previously that maybe it's because because a slide wallet wasn't intuitive to me when I first got it. Like I'm not exaggerating to you when I say I opened the wallet and I was like, oh wow, look at that. There's like a tin for my wallet and everything. This is like a cool unboxing experience. And I got the wallet and I was like, okay, now how do I use this? and like pried at it for a little bit, trying to figure it out, like an animal who doesn't understand the whatever you put in front of them, I guess. And so I had to go watch like a quick video on. I'm not gonna lie, it was probably a video comparing this Groove Life wallet to a different one, because I guess I couldn't really find any other types of videos. But I had to find another video on the wallet to actually figure out how to open the thing, because again, it just wasn't intuitive to me. And I can imagine that issue might have actually been worse if you were one of the, the unfortunate people who just didn't have their version shipped to them with the sticky tape. Like, are you kidding me? That's just dumb that apparently is just not on every unit, and it's only under certain circumstances that it's actually on there. But regardless, and then I guess the only other thing that I didn't like about it is when I went to actually go to their website to see what other kinds of patterns that they had. I was a much bigger fan of like the flat black pattern that was on there, but again, I do enjoy the carbon fiber. But when I was on there, I saw how much these wallets actually were, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I'd spend my own money on that. It's because wallets are such a simple thing for me, where it's like it holds my cards, it holds my cash if I have any, and for a while it was actually holding a random Digimon card that I had for like 10 years, and I don't know how long it had been in there. But I was like, because it does those very basic things for me, I don't know if I would be willing to pay the prices that they're asking for on their website for the mild convenience features that it gave me. And I don't know if I'd be willing to pay that much just to have it make me look cooler. So
if it helps you any, I know adulthood is a little bit new for you. You have to think of it more along the terms of long term. This is a wallet you're not going to replace after 2.5, 3 years. How many times are you going to rebuy a wallet over your lifetime, versus the only way you really replace this wallet is if you think it's ugly from too many scratches, or they make a new model that holds more cards. So this theoretically is supposed to be a wallet that's going to last you some decades, not years.
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point that I hadn't even really considered. I apply that logic to a lot of other things, but I think wallets are always one of those things that, like, I think the only reason I would have a reason to change a wallet anyways would be actually, ironically, mostly off of like a style preference of like, I don't want a trifold wallet because that makes me look like I'm in middle school, or it makes me look like I'm a dad who has way too many cards that he doesn't use. So I'll give this one like a 50-50. You can put this in either category, however you like. Maybe if I happen to have a little bit of extra money lying around that I literally have nothing better to do with it, I might do that, and then that would prove to be a very good long-term investment. And me 20 years down the line is going to go look back at this and he's going to be like, shut up, you idiot. That's significantly farther down in the script. I think the build of this wallet is maybe about as simple as you can get, being 3 pieces of metal with some kind of mechanism responsible for pushing the card out, and one of those 3 pieces being entirely useless if you don't carry cash on you. Like, I don't most of the time. I think the design of the wallet isn't too bad. I think it's a design that would have to grow on me, but I am imagining how much nicer it might look if that carbon fiber print on the front was kind of a bit more flat and textured, but that's because I'm a boring person, I guess. But in general, I still think the wallet looks pretty nice, and no one would really bat an eye at the design on the front, even if the one thing that I might have not initially liked about it was that carbon fiber print. No one's going to bat an eye about it. I don't like the sticky spot in the middle because I found out by accident that piece can peel off relatively easily, and while I didn't do it, it would make the wallet much more difficult to open after some wear and tear if that sticky piece comes off. And again, as you had previously mentioned, the fact that it doesn't come on every single unit is a bit of a sin. I do like the fact that this wallet is slim and is only designed to carry a small amount of cards, up to 6 in this case. I really don't need a wallet that claims to be able to carry 30 cards, 30 racks, and an extra space for a dinner plate in case my friend invites me over for dinner empty-handed. I like the fact that this wallet can be put in my back pocket and be able to comfortably sit on top of it. However, I wrote this so confusingly, Whatever. I like the fact that the wallet is slim and that I can put it in my back pocket and I can sit on it however I want because it takes up significantly less room. That genuinely might be one of the most important things if I was concerned about like my spine. I do like the slide mechanic. Obviously, if I didn't, then that would kind of defeat the whole purpose of this because that's what makes it probably the most different from any other wallet. It minimizes the amount of time I'm spending opening my wallet and searching for the crucial card that I need, and it also doubles as a satisfying fidget tool. Yes, I am the problem. And again, I just like how it looks. All those things combined, plain and simple, it just looks good. I don't like how this thing handles metal cards because, to be frank, it doesn't. I think this wallet just doesn't really have the strength to hold up a card that heavy, but I can ignore that most of the time. I can't ignore the fact that this wallet feels significantly worse to use in general when you have less than 6 cards, because the metal card issue that I mentioned kind of shows up even with plastic cards if you have fewer in there. Maybe I just have slippery cards, or maybe I have scratched up cards. I don't really know, but that's just my experience with it. I didn't really like the experience of learning how to use this wallet because I felt kind of dumb. I moved past the initial shock of getting a whole tin for my wallet, and I became very confused, and my 2 brain cells didn't really think to slide open the wallet, even though that's the gimmick of it, because slide wallets were kind of a novel concept for me in practice before this. And again, as I had mentioned, I don't really like the price. I could justify it more now because I understand that it is more of a long-term investment. I'm usually happy spending more money for higher quality things, but if a wallet for me is designed to do kind of like one thing in my life, I can usually skip over that, especially because I don't know, I don't mistreat my wallets. I'm not changing them out every 2-3 years, but I understand that a lot of people maybe are. Regardless, if any of the gripes that I had with this wallet were to be taken into consideration, I would like to see a potential material change just so that I don't have to rely on a glorified piece of sticky tape, even though I'm sure that's kind of the whole shtick of the wallet anyways. I'd like to see some potential design changes, and in hindsight, after I wrote this script, I actually went and Googled their website and again found more designs that I think would better fit what I would be wanting in like a long-term wallet. I would like to see some kind of better accommodation for fewer cards under the max carry limit if that's possible, because it does seem a little bit silly that I'd have to go and buy another wallet to maybe that only carries 4 or something. I don't know how they would do it. It would just be nice if they were able to make it work. And again, it'd be nice if maybe this wallet was a little bit cheaper from like a consumer facing perspective, because while I totally do understand all the points that you make about it and why it is that much, I am a little hesitant in saying that a lot of the general consumer base would feel the same. But I suppose if you're already a fan of the Groove Life products, then maybe you can make that kind of exception for yourself. And people love their metal wallets, I suppose, so I'm not going to knock them for it. And that's everything I have written down.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess with that being said, it's my turn. I'll have an extra section because I got to deal with some things that Milk didn't have to. Luckily, he didn't have to. First and foremost, as far as the quality material, let me go and grab it real quick. I know they can't see anything, but it just helps me. First and foremost, I really hate using the word sleek, even though I actually know the definition of the word, because when the fucking PS3 came out, when the 360 came out, when the PS1 came out, I think maybe the 4, the gaming industry started calling their game systems sleek all the time. It got on my nerves. It really did. Okay? So, believe me when I tell you, I was very reluctant and almost begrudgingly have to call this wallet actual sleek. It's actually sleek. The design is cool. The material is good. And the best part is when I drop it, I don't have to have that fear like Sonic just ran into a spike and now a bunch of rings are all over the screen, which always blew my mind. How does that happen? But I don't have to worry about everything flying out nowhere. Now, don't get me wrong. My old metal wallet folds open a bit almost like a purse, and it doesn't lay all the way flat. It can stand up upright on the table. But when it hits the ground, everything jumps out of it like somebody's trying to fucking flip an egg and they fucked it up. Right? So that led me to having completely less tension when this thing drops. And I'm including dropping it on the side where the mechanism is that can eject your cards. Now, as far as the material is concerned, all aluminum, and it's a pretty nice density of aluminum. There is no actual carbon fiber, but there is a carbon fiber like design pattern on the front, which is really cool, and it's initially what drew me to it. Now, that being said, as far as materials, there were some extras that came with this thing, and I'm gonna talk about them because they were a fucking problem, as cool as they were. First and foremost, I don't hate the money clip, but I do not like the position that it is in. I feel like it would have been better if they made this thing align to the side of the wallet on the back, and they shrank the length of the band a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I learned very quickly that putting this thing in my pocket and putting it in with the clip side facing inward, so if the cards fall out for some reason, they don't, the cards will land in my pocket, actually resulted in the cards ejecting. Yes, I know this is really a legitimate money clip, but it's a clip nonetheless. It's meant to keep something in place with a lot of pressure and force in a concentrated area. So why not test it on something besides money? Because that was too easy. Now I tested it on my own damn pockets. And the first thing I learned, no matter what pocket it was, coat pocket, pants pocket, front pocket, cargo pocket, pocket like it's hot, hot pockets, lean pockets, if they're still around, I miss those. Pulling it out can result in a small shift that leads to the mechanism slightly opening up, and since the cards are upside down, you know, gravity still exists, and they'll come out. So I'm sitting up here trying to pull this thing out, looking cool, because it makes a nice little metal sound to let you know, hey, it's fully released from your pants clip, the edge of your pants pocket. And I pull it up, and there are 3 cards staring at me, and 3 didn't leave my pocket. They didn't feel like coming out that night, apparently. However, I also understand that that is not a regular use case scenario that they intended for it. So you can't really complain or count something as a negative if it doesn't do something it wasn't intended to do in the first place. I don't get mad at my TV for not making my toast buttered. Was my TV supposed to butter my toast? Now, we're going to talk about a mix of, now that we've gone through material, a mix of quality and customer service, because this is a unique situation. I can't really say more about the quality than you did. We pretty much both agree. But there is an issue with materials. First and foremost, I didn't give it to you because it was a waste of fucking time. But this thing that I bought on a Black Friday sale and discount came with the money clip, which is usually, I believe, a $20 add-on. And it came with a small little pointed Allen wrench adapted tool that has a small screw tip edge on it to go and undo the screws. Here's the problem. That thing chipped the first time I turned it. Mind you, I was going in the correct direction. I literally heard it fragment. They went a little bit too cheap. However, because I'm me, I happen to have a bunch of tools and a toolkit that allows me to open small screws that are usually on laptops, because I always upgrade my storage. And I was able to easily go in and out. The screws are fine. The materials they're made of is fine. But that little not screwdriver, Allen wrench like adapter to remove the starburst pattern screws was a complete and total joke and waste of time. I even went in, turned on a bunch of lights, and I heavily zoomed in on it with a camera. It had immediately chipped from the first turn. I thought I was going in the wrong direction, hence I pulled out my whole little thing of tools and I went in that same direction in the opposite. No, it was just too weak and frail and it didn't have enough reinforcement. They shouldn't have made it. They should have literally just contracted a third party to allow them to put something small into this thing that they can ship with the device, with the wallet. Does a wallet count as a device? I'll look that up later.
Eventually it'll become high tech enough they could count.
Yeah, probably. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, that is a deterrent. Then I started playing with it, and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not like one of those fidget spinner addict motherfuckers, because I can see somebody pushing it up and down like all throughout their day. Not to mention, I was like, wait a minute, what happens if my hands are wet? Also, I get a little bit of a cramp when I try to do this with too much force and it slides around. It's like, this doesn't feel right. Am I supposed to go along the edge of it and just push up? Or does it want me to use two hands? Because when you do two hands, it's a lot smoother, but it's not as cool, which means nothing. I don't hold it against the wallet. However, there's a problem that a lot of people don't notice, because normally no one does it with two thumbs. When you do it with two thumbs, the cards push out in a lot closer proximity. Now, for some that may be a pro or a con, I'm indifferent to it, especially since, you know, I don't actually use it that way. So I learned through customer service that I asked them, which you might be seeing on screen right now, hey, listen, I have your wallet. I think I like your wallet, but why is there no form of grip or any form of, you know, friction-based material on the front of this wallet? I was like, oh, you're supposed to utilize the such and such that comes with. It's like, no, I'm not. I didn't get none of that. You didn't? I was like, yeah. How much is it? She sent me a link. It was like 10 or 15 bucks. Like, are you serious right now? You gave me a money clip that I didn't really need as an extra on a discount, but the thing I need to make sure it's easy to open and close, you want me to pay for? I was like, no, it's supposed to come complimentary. Some people want extras, so we give them the ability to buy extras. I was like, okay, hey, we're gonna send you one. What's your address? I was like, you are? Yes, with no charge. It was like, oh, snap. And they did send me one, and then they asked me, did I get it? I said, yes. And they asked me, hey, were there any other questions that you have? I was like, can I use these emails in the review video I'm going to do? And then they said, of course. So I actually got to interact with their customer service, which I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give it the grade of an A-. We're waiting till the end to do grades, but, you know, since I'm the only one that can grade that one, I'm the only one who's going to tell you. Now, when they sent it to me, it was perfectly measured for the wallet. It's a little piece of cardboard with a rectangle in the middle, going all the way down it in the center. Now what you're supposed to do is move and shift this cardboard cutout of the wallet with the rectangle slot to wherever you want to place the grip tape. I went for dead center, and you just move it along this track before you take off the adhesive or let the adhesive come on stick onto the wallet, and you make that your permanent position. And they don't tell you the best place to do it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, even though it may not look cool, it's the bottom of the wallet, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you go too high up, then you don't really have a lot of momentum when you're trying to push the wallet. So really, you're relying on more force than you need to. Whereas if you got it low center, not too close to the edge of the wallet, maybe get a thumb space above the edge and bottom of the wallet in that center, you can curl your thumb in a little bit, push out, very little effort. You can tilt your thumb in. Hopefully you don't rip into the sticky material with your nail. And you can push it out that way as well. And I did test it out underwater. And I don't mean like I went into a pool. Come on now. I meant like I literally put it under running water, which I'm going to do again just to make sure I don't fucking forget. And it's still doable, but you won't hear a noise, and it's not as attractive. They don't shoot out as far, but it's a wallet. The goal is to get it to shoot out. You will have to hold it open though to wipe the wallet down on the inside, because if you don't, you know, the water's just going to be on the inside. But I don't have any paper cards, so it's not that big of a deal for me. I will take out my debit card because, you know, it's got that exposed chip, because for some reason the entirety of the fucking bank industry thought an exposed chip was a fucking good idea. I still don't understand that one. So yeah, it does work even if utilized in watery areas and heavily drowned areas. So there is that. But because I did not get it initially with my wallet, most of my review does not factor in its existence. Furthermore, I can only go on the state that they gave it to me in. They didn't give it to me like that. They claim it was an oversight, but hey, that's their fault, not mine. Now, moving into the realism of this becoming my main wallet, it already is. It already is. Furthermore, since my card densities waver, I don't have consistent card density across the board. I actually am in a unique position where I can fit in more cards than is advertised, and none of my cards are metal, which still blows my mind that you have those. So, because my cards densities all vary, it's a lot easier for me to stuff in more cards. Currently, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have the minimum of 6, but the highest I've gone is 8. But that's because those 8 were not the same density. They were all different ones. Now, pros to the wallet. The wallet itself. It's so much of a conversation piece, it actually got annoying depending on where I use the wallet at. And I don't mean like, oh, somebody says, oh, you got one of those wallets? Nice. Look, Groove Wallet, you're popular and known for your belts because you had those commercials every fucking where. But people don't actually know you for wallets. They think the name sounds familiar a little bit. They're right, obviously. But the main thing is just that I'm happy that I don't have to deal with hearing people say, "Oh, is that your wallet? Hey, where'd you get that?" Almost 5 times a day. Yes, contrary to what may be popular belief for YouTubers and video game players, I touch grass, I've touched ass, I go outside, I have fun outside. So it became a bit of a fucking hindrance and a problem. Honestly, it became a legitimate hindrance and a legitimate problem. Because I don't want to sound like I'm being rude or annoying. But also, a man can only be asked a question so many times before he becomes legitimately just aggravated by it. But I will say that's not a con. That works to your advantage as a wallet maker. The fact that your wallet is a legitimate conversation piece is a good sign for you. And I look forward to, you coming up with cooler designs in the future. You have succeeded in doing what your mission statement claims, at least for the time being. And I salute you for that. Okay. Now, other cons, or I guess the final pro. The final pro. The money clip accessory and extension was a good idea. Also, it's not a smooth material. So that means you can simply tilt your thumb into it from the top or pull in from both sides with multiple fingers to access the money. Or if you have it set to where you can easily slip off a bill, you can slip off a bill that way. That was smart. Like I said, my only real problem, which technically doesn't count as a con though, is the fact that it's facing the bottom half of the wallet. So it's completely upside down from the position I would prefer. But also, as mentioned, I prefer it come off from the side. Now, going into cons. This one's a debatable con. The sounds it makes when you're using it. Some people just don't want to, trigger, and not in a hypersensitive tone. They don't want to trigger some type of sound effect that alerts people to that they open their wallet. That's very uncommon. You know when someone's zipping up a coat because of the zipper. You know when someone's unzipping a book bag or zipping it up because of the zipper. Do we really want to live in an era where someone can tell when you opened your wallet because it makes a noise? But like I said, that's a debatable con, if even. I was reluctant to legitimately even mention it.
I'd be concerned that the clicking sounds like something else.
Well, yeah, especially me. So another con, or more legitimate con, I should say, for me, is the fact that, the magnets or electricity. However, let's be real. What are the chances you're going to come across a strong enough magnet that's going to magnetize to this fucking wallet and it's going to destroy the data on the cards? What are the chances you're going to get electrocuted and this wallet is going to be one of the conductors? That ain't high, bruh.
God is trying to kill you if that happens.
Yeah, like you must have been a supervillain, cartoony grade in a past life. So realistically speaking, the fact that the cons are so few and far between, and those are the best I can think of, a money clip being in a down position instead of a sideways position on here. Mind you, I know that that's not the standard, but based on this wallet, nothing is standard. Why not try it out at least? The fact that the main thing utilized to put any accessories that go to this wallet or can be screwed into this wallet on was a fucking joke and broke at first usage. The fact that those are really the only two cons I can think of, that's a good sign for your product. Something that's technically superfluous, you may have only used once or twice, breaking when you open it, and you forgot to give me one of the key ingredients needed to make this wallet comfortable. But at the same time, let's be honest, and it's all over YouTube, but I knew just from, being me and Amazon, you can get some grip tape for like $9. Get a whole sheet with different formats. They will fit on this wallet. And it'll make using it easier. Because all that grip tape does is add friction when you try to push it open. Realistically, this wallet, I want to say, is going to usher in a future that we would never have guessed could happen with wallets. So for my final grade, I'm giving the Groove Life wallets, the entire line of them, I'm giving them a B+. They're so close to an A, or rather an A-, but they stop at one particular measure. There should be no reasoning that this adhesive mechanic or this adhesive material isn't already on the device. They could make an area of the wallet dead in the center that already has friction on it, or put the damn sticker on yourself. Make it a really long bar. It'll still look cool. Just make it clear. And if you notice, if you look at it in light, it actually has the Groove Life patterns built into it, which is really cool to me. So yeah, I give it a B+. They knew what they were doing, or rather, they went through a lot of trial and error to design it, and they came up with a good design. It has a quality adjacent to those belts that they used to always advertise. And this is my day-to-day wallet, not just because I think it looks cool. No, it did what it did. It did what it was supposed to. It trained me into making sure I do not overbloat my wallet. I keep things simple. And if I don't put money in the money clip, I can put extra cards there. I'm not going to put too many, and I'm going to make sure it's not something that's going to be easily damaged. Because, man, this wallet clip part is really strong. I'm surprised it hasn't scratched the back of this wallet. But that also leads me to another con, or the final con. The pattern that they show you on the front is only on the front. It's not on the side of the wallet, and it's not on the back. It's just one straight gunmetal looking color. Come on. This thing was almost $100 if I didn't get it on sale. You couldn't fucking make that cool ass pattern also be on the back of these things? Like, none of them have the same color on the front that they do the back. Like, it is literally a show horse in the front and a booty in the back. Now, with that being said, Milk, what do you rate the wallet?
You know, after everything you were telling me about, and after rethinking everything basically coming to grips with some of the cons that I had with it, and now not rating them as bad of a light, and the things that I enjoyed about it basically only getting better as time progressed, I'm probably going to have to agree with you on a B+, even though that literally doesn't match up with any of the ratings that I gave it.
That's fine.
This is one of those things where because a wallet does so many simple things for me, I would be perfectly fine just getting a regular ass wallet, to the point where having one that actually looks nicer, it doesn't mean anything to me per se, but it is a really nice thing that, you know, to have on it, because, you know, everything I carry with me is basically an accessory at this point. And if I'm like, hold up, I'm going to pull out this wallet so that I can pay for this chicken sandwich or something, and I pull out that wallet, that's just another accessory to make me look cool. But outside of that specific context, I like the way that it's designed. I think I wouldn't run into nearly as many of the same potential negative situations that would cause the mechanisms to stop working, namely getting it wet. And most of the time, I carry like the perfect amount of cards that fit in that in that space. It's really easy and really flexible to work with. It doesn't take up that much space, which is nice, because genuinely a thing that people complain a lot about is if you have a wallet that is too fat and you have too much money, then you give yourself back problems. And so that's one of those things that, even though I don't really have to worry about it, it's at least nice knowing that it helps prevent that from becoming an issue. I think everything is designed well, and I was lucky enough that I didn't have to deal with a complimentary accessory not showing up when it was supposed to. So I'm going to stick with a B+ as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, with that being said, I can comfortably, or at least I feel like we can comfortably recommend this wallet to people, but also be aware it has to grow on you. There's a specific reason why I didn't do this the same day I got it, and I wanted to get second opinions. Not because the channel is inherently built to have secondary opinions. It is. But because it's a wallet. You don't really know how good a wallet is until you spent time with it. And the only people who don't think that are people who don't even care about their wallet. They just straight up say a wallet's a wallet. That's never been the case. You can have a luxurious looking wallet, but guess what? Even if you don't put it in your back pocket, back butt pocket, which, guys, we got to stop doing that. It's not healthy. That Seinfeld episode was no joke, although it was funny. It can help train you to be more minimalistic. The biggest thing I have with it is I wish they would use a different mechanism other than put a sticker on and push it up. Why not have a button slot right there in the center? Make a small groove, push it up, boom, there you go. But also, make sure it can lock into place. So, you don't just shake it a few times or it rumbles around in your book bag or your pocket and whoops, everything sprang the fuck out. There's ways they can still evolve the patent or evolve the mechanisms that they use for this. But yeah, I recommend it, but you have to force yourself to make it your primary. You really do. Driver's license, not state ID. Passport card, if you got one of those. Insurance card, debit card, or if they're separate, debit card and credit card, that's 5 right there. And unless they're really thin, you're only really getting 1 extra slot. That's a good way to train somebody. It worked on me. It really did. I went down from usually having about 9 cards to 5. And one of them I'm not even going to be able to use until maybe 3-4 months from now. So with that being said, I don't know how often we're going to be reviewing stuff like this. But if we continue to agree on things that we're going to review, I will continue to post these things up. And Milk, as always, I look forward to having you on the channel again. And, when this is out, please remember to promote and share on your socials, and I will do the same for your channels.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you're not fidgeting with that wallet too much.
I'm not. Also, if you could talk to Groove Wallet and tell them one thing, what would you tell them about the product or have them change?
Well, I would tell them, like you said, their mission that they're doing. They seem to be doing very good at that. Keep kicking ass at their customer service, apparently. And then one thing to change is I would say, I don't know, maybe make your accessories a little bit better, because it seems like you spent all your money on that wallet that you kind of cheaped out on the accessory pieces, or the screwdriver or the something or other. So maybe put a little bit more care and time into that. That might do you some good. But that's probably it.
Cool. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next review. Take care.
Off they go.